This week's bonus pod is a recording of the REVB mastermind that we have every single Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. This week we had Christa Nielsen on, and she talked about the systems that she uses in order to streamline her content process to post 7 to 10 pieces of content every single week. Tune in and let me know what you think. What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Welcome back to another real estate video blueprint marketing mastermind. I am excited to talk about systems. This is really just going to be a call that we are just going to berate Tim Macy for not having systems, but there's no one better to berate Tim Macy and also talk about systems, but berate Tim Macy than Christa Nielsen.
Krista, what's up?
What's up? Oh, berating Tim Macy. It's kind of early.
It
I don't,
is.
I don't
It
know
is.
if I'm ready at 10 a.m.
You don't
Pacific
have to be.
time.
We appreciate it. Krista, real quick, I'm a big Krista fan, if you guys didn't know this. But I love having you on here because how many REVBs have you been to?
All but one. What is that, three?
3. And so tell me, real quick, your REVB story.
Well, I was a tiny baby content creator when I started going to RevB. Um, I feel like as far as implementation, going to those events has been the most influential that I've had from any conference, right? So going to each of those events, I feel like I have been in a different phase of creating content for business every single year that I've gone. And this year, I mean, everything, something always clicks when I go, but this year in particular, something had already clicked prior to that. And a lot of this just helped me refine it. And talking with other, I mean, half of it is the people, right? And having those conversations in the hallways while the conference isn't happening and just talking through what people are doing, what's working, and just creating some accountability around it. So, a lot of these friends that I see on here are from events like that and just holding each other accountable and doing things together.
And so what content were you doing and now what content are you doing now? Like, talk to me about your kind of content journey.
Right. So I started on Facebook. I was like one of the few people, whatever that was 8 years ago, that was creating content on Facebook. And it just kind of slowly blended into Instagram. I danced on TikTok for like a minute. I did funny things and relevant to real estate. And I kind of just slowly evolved where I started. Funny that you should ask this because where I really started getting into consistency was when I created systems and created repeatable content, right? Like I am a super creative person in my own definition, but I am an overthinker to the worst state. So, yes, creativity is super fun, but it doesn't work for me personally when it comes to content and not in the traditional sense. Like, I'm not going to come up with a brand new idea and how to hook people in and how to do all of that every single time I create a new video. It's not sustainable for me. It turns into burnout really fast. So
Yeah.
I went from kind of throwing spaghetti at a wall for a really long time and just panicking every single day of like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to post. And I just kind of figured it out, which it really meant bad engagement, right? People, you can see right through that all the way through last Rev B, just starting my journey with TikTok home tours that Matt and Roland were doing and starting to see success with that, which was a repeatable system, to now, oh, hey, doing the Rev B challenge and finally getting me to do green screen videos, which I'm already seeing some success with. So it's the secret sauce, really, at the end of the day, was the accountability and also the systems that I have in place to do that.
All right. Well, let's dive in to the systems because I think that's what everybody wants to hear about. So, what changed systems wise that you have in place now?
So really just creating something on repeat, right? So being able to create an SOP before I do any content ever, and I have some shareable stuff as well, but before I ever start diving into a piece of content or a content challenge, I create systems around it. That's just the way that I function. It's how I have to do things. So I'm like, I'm going to create an SOP and I'm going to learn how to do this. So when I was watching all of the content for the REVB challenge and for the green screen specifically, especially after Katie, Josh, and Bill did their breakout at Rise, I started building that process as I was watching those tutorials and really better understanding that process. So, for instance, Notebook LM, which Katie was just talking about, that I've never done in my entire life. So I started building something from there, right? So as I learned what to do with Notebook LM and how to source, I'm doing green screens right now, which is what I'm nerding out on, but how to source those videos through city planning meetings. Well, that was an entire process that I was very uncomfortable with and very unfamiliar with. So as I learned how to do each step, I documented that. And then I took that as a package, threw it into ChatGPT and said, hey, help me refine this and create an SOP just for sourcing stories for green screen videos. Right.
I'm going to interrupt you. Let's go a little bit deeper. So you said I documented that process. How are you documenting that process?
So as I was, Bill helped me an insane amount as I was doing this because I'm like, okay, Bill told me in this video, he didn't tell me, he told everyone on this video that you take a city planning meeting and you throw it into Notebook LM, and then you take an action of defining it into bullet points. Well, my city, although we live in Silicon Valley, has no YouTube channel. So I had to find those from their website and transcribe them and turn them into something else. So as I'm doing all of this, I'm making notes of this process, right? Because first of all, keeping it up here isn't going to make it very repeatable because I feel like I'm going to miss a step every single time I do it again. And also, if I hope to scale one day and I want someone else to be doing this, like a VA, why am I going to reinvent the wheel when it's time to teach someone else how to do the process? So by documenting, Katie, I just mean like I am taking notes as I'm going through this process and then turning it into an SOP with ChatGPT.
Taking notes like you're handwriting them down, taking notes like you're putting them in a Google Doc, typing them.
Literally on a Google Doc. I make it into a note and then I just copy and paste it into ChatGPT. And Chat and I are besties when it comes to SOPs. I think I've had it create probably 25 at this point. So it knows how I like it broken down very clearly. And it knows I like a tabular section and it knows that I like a checklist. I mean, the more you utilize that, the better it gets.
Yeah. You can tell that Christa and I have similar brains. So as far as that goes, for some of you, when you're like, okay, I need to like write stuff down, and you like cringe when you think about writing things down. I have done this with like VAs where I will basically go on Zoom with them and I will record the Zoom. And then you can drop that Zoom. If you use Slack, like I'll drop it into Slack and then it transcribes the video for you. You can also use like Rev, or there's tons of other things that you can use to transcribe a video, but basically transcribe the video. And then you can take the transcription and say, hey, give me step by step in tedious detail, steps 1 through 10,000, what I just said and how this should go. And it'll give you all of those steps. Like if you're not going to physically write them down or have someone else to write them down for you, because I know like Marissa's laughing right now, like many of us have been doing this for a very long time, but don't actually take the time to write down what we're doing. So just.
Well, the other piece is I know a lot of us too want to get this going, but then also want to be able to outsource it, right? A lot of us want to be able to hand off a lot of this work to an assistant, and the success that our agents have in handing this off to an assistant usually comes down to how well they've documented the process for a VA or somebody else to take over. So not only is it important to you to make sure that you get replicatable results, but it's also important if you ever want to offload this thing in the future.
Claude, it's another good thing
Absolutely.
too. Tyler just dropped in the chat that we've been talking about, and I know Bill has been using a lot, and Josh just got one as well. But Claude, whether it's the note pin or the one that connects to your phone, can record phone conversations, can record conferences, and is a great note taker.
Love it. So, Christa, you're documenting all this stuff on how to create your process, all the fun things. Are most of the news pieces that you're doing from local meetings, or like where are you getting most of your topics?
Yeah, so I have a process that every Sunday I just look through everything. So I look at local news, so whatever publications there are that have repeatable content that comes up. So I'll look at any local news stories. I have Google Alerts set, and then I pull everything from the local meetings. I am in the Bay Area in California, so I'm looking at the cities of Gilroy, Morgan Hill, and San Jose. If it's a slow week, like last week was pretty slow because most city meetings were canceled because of Thanksgiving, I start pulling more from news stories. And I feel like the more you get into the mental space of this, and I mean, this is like, what are we, week 3? So I'm in week 3 of this, and my brain is already like, ooh, what's happening in my Google alerts? And I'm looking. When I find an article, even if it's not Sunday, because you're going to get updates through different news publications all week long, right? So to make things very quick for me, I was at a hockey game the other day, standing in line for concessions, reading my emails, and I found 2 articles that were what I thought would be good content. So I just took those links, copied and pasted them into my Excel spreadsheet, which is my tracker, right? So by Sunday, I may have 3 videos left that I still need to plan out. But I take all of that content, I build it into a spreadsheet. From there, some things aren't necessarily important to get done that week. Some of them are good news stories that are a little more evergreen. And so as I'm building this list, I have a list at the bottom that's just kind of like rinse and repeat content. So I can throw those in when it makes sense to, and when it's a slow news week.
Love that. Where are you seeing most of your traction? I just dropped your TikTok in there so people can see the kind of content you're doing, but where are you seeing traction and growth happening with the audience?
Yeah, so I mean, over the last 2 weeks, I would say it's almost even in regards to TikTok and Instagram. So not to overwhelm anyone that's just starting this process, but I have 2 TikToks and 1 Instagram. I checked yesterday because I wanted to have this answer, but I have created 358 pieces of content to date this year, but most of that is from TikTok home tours. Very little of that is from this new green screen concept. So I would say right now, let's say 150,000 views were coming from TikTok over the last couple weeks, and I have about 110,000 views from Instagram. So they're pretty comparable. So 2 of those platforms I'm just replicating, right? Because I figured I already had the platform. Why not put content on it? And that's like my TikTok account is like the evolving. I danced on TikTok. I put talking head content on there. So it was already, a few thousand followers. It was nothing crazy, but I'm like, why not try this? And it's seeming to work really well on that platform. So I have the same content going on Instagram and TikTok at the same time that I'm just organically posting. And then I have a separate TikTok account that's just purely home tours. And that one is very different content. So it's hard to compare the 2.
Yeah.
That one's almost at 10,000 followers, which is great. I'm excited about that. But
So
I would go ahead.
So I didn't want to get too much into the weeds here. One thing I like about the news stuff is it's pretty easy to post on Instagram and TikTok. Like the algorithms are similar enough for that content specifically that it seems like it works pretty well without having to overthink where it should go. Um, how like how are you seeing it? You're having your two channels on TikTok for home tours and news. You feel like those are separate enough audiences that they're both growing bigger organically than they would together?
Yes, absolutely. I think that it with TikTok, it's a tough, it's not tough. I should say it's really easy. The algorithm feeds the right people. And so staying in one particular lane has seemed to work really well. Like the people looking at home tours don't necessarily want to know every bit of news sourcing. However, I link the two, right? So I do mention each in the profiles. As far as content that's working the greatest, I feel like the green screen content is just, it's killing it right now. Some
Yeah.
work really well, some videos, and some are trash. And that doesn't matter to me at this point because it's all testing, right? Like, not every video from a brand new concept for me is going to work. But once I get about a month of content, that's going to tell me a lot. And Katie, I think the other day you mentioned on a video with carousels, taking pieces that work really well, that perform really well, and turning that into something else, really just squeezing it out as much as possible.
If you guys aren't repurposing reels into carousels, you are missing out. I did one the other day that it had like 10,000 views, a reel, a new style reel had 10,000 views when we made a carousel. The carousel now has, I think it had 50 this morning, but it could have more now. 50,000 views, and the sorry, 262,000. Wrong post. 262,000 views on the carousel, and the reel has 25,000. So like it's
Yeah.
They
wild
can blow
how,
up.
and
So
you don't really have to do anything. Like all you have to do is take the same headline and make it the headline of the carousel, and then it's a swipe post.
Katie, can you cue that up? Can you pull up the what the original reel was
Oh,
and
I
then
can
what
cue it.
the
I was trying to answer Shauna said, did she say she has separate platforms?
yeah.
I was trying to pull up her two platforms
You
because
pull
she's
up the
got
carousel. We'll nail the
I've
platforms.
already got the I've
Oh,
already
you've
got them.
already got both. Okay.
All right, so Krista, this is her home tour channel. What I was gonna say about Krista for your channels is like I feel like you're kind of when did you start doing home tours? It was before RevB, right?
Yeah,
Last year.
spring, right before RevB.
So almost a year of home tours. Green screen, you just kind of started, and
Yeah,
so
weeks
like
ago.
I think that I think you probably could have done your green screen on the same channel, but I don't know that they would have performed as well as they have. Because like I think that like you have a pretty good audience on the home tour side that you could mix in other content and you'd be okay. But um, I think that's why you're seeing such good content.
And I think so one, I think it's easier to grow an audience with the news stuff because more people are interested in what's going on locally than they are home tours. On the same hand, though, I think if we looked at your views to lead ratio, or like you're going to get more direct leads with less viewership and following on home tours.
Yeah.
And so this isn't like a right direction or wrong direction, but it is something to think about. Like when somebody's following you in your home tour channel, you're more likely to get those direct calls. On the news channels, we have to grow this audience and then figure out how to convert them to real estate. And so those are definitely two things to think about when you're doing this content.
All right. So pulling up this. So this was the original video.
First ever 3D printed home community, the 80 home development called Missouri Gardens, officially
I've reported on this before.
live 3D printing demo that drew
This was actually the second time that we reported on it.
People love 3D printed. That always get some comments.
And so I did this one because they just broke ground, right? So I did it first when they announced the community, right? And so they just broke ground. And so I redid the video. We always talk about like copyrighted and things like that. So all of the photos that I could find were of like staff photographers taking them. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to take any of those photos from a staff photographer because I know I'm going to get hit with the copyright. So I was like, I'll just use the renderings again. So this is effectively like almost the same post that I had previously done. But again, once it hit 10K, we did the carousel post. And like, this is all that it is, guys. Like I saw some people asking like, well, how are you using Chat GPT? Or you like, what are you doing? Like you just
literally taking
headline,
the images
and then drop images. Like there's nothing like too crazy. Like you'll see some that like Bella, and I know Josh does them too, where they have like this where it's like, but this is just like bullet points from the thing.
Yeah, it is good where I think you take people through and you keep them swiping through as you tell the same story that you would on a reel, but you tell it in 4 or 5 posts.
This one,
not post slides.
Yeah, I think they got it, but yeah. that was not correct. Like here's this one's at 50,000 views.
Yep,
and 800 sends and almost 200 saves.
Katie, the big question is, was that AI or was that you?
That was me.
That was real Katie, everyone.
Katie, I have a question regarding what you just shared. So you did the video on November 21st, and then do you have a cadence of when you do the carousel post afterwards, or do you just do the carousel post based on how the views go for the reel? Like, what is your cadence?
Yeah, so I talked to my marketing, my Nancy. Many of you know Nancy. I talked to Nancy and basically said every single Friday we're going to review my page and I'm going to give her the ones that I want carousels for the next week. So like, unless I know that it's something that's super newsworthy, like I think we all know of the people that are doing this. Like you can find a news article from a month ago and re-report on it, and like people will still go crazy sometimes. So like, I don't have a specific like, oh, well, 12.2 days after the original post, I'm gonna, do the thing. It's just like every Friday I look and I see things that like either they re-picked up steam or, like they have more than 10,000 views is kind of my idea.
Yeah. So looking at your top performers, make them into feed posts and make them into carousels. The other piece though, Katie, that I love, which I know you already hit on, but I want to re-emphasize this point, is that if you do a video on a topic and it does really well, figure out a reason to do another video on the topic. So if you do a video because the development got announced, go do another video about something else about it. Like a lot of us think, oh, I already did that, I have to go find some new topic. Go look through your past top performing videos and say, okay, which one of these can I do again? All right.
Back to Christa.
Yeah, I've done 3 pieces of content for one burger place because for whatever reason, I started with a carousel on that. And then I've created 2 other pieces of content that have gone pretty nuts. It's like, how much more could I say about a burger place?
Yeah. Like Rick Gonzalez, what's your top performing reel that went viral for you?
Mine was the new sports complex they're building down the street.
Yeah.
But that one was a lot of controversy.
So you made a reel on it.
Mm-hmm.
Did you make a carousel on it yet?
Didn't do a carousel, no. I did a follow-up reel that didn't really do so hot, but...
Do another one. But yeah, do a carousel on it and see how it goes. Let's make it happen. All right.
Make it happen.
So Christa,
back to you.
Are you pre-recording all of these or are you doing them on the fly? Like what's your cadence?
I love me a batched video. So my cadence is I source on Sunday, and then Monday is my recording day for green screen videos. Now I'm doing 2 different types of content. So Monday is my batch for green screens. If you have everything organized, so if you have your stories sourced, you've already created a script, you know everything that you're going to do. I use Big View as my teleprompter. I can record 7 videos in 30 minutes. I mean, it's so quick because you don't have to do anything but read the teleprompter. And you need to get comfortable with a teleprompter. I mean, it takes a minute in finding the right speed and everything else. But once you get those sets, it's very, very quick So the content, if I recorded one a day, setting all of that up, doing all of it, having to physically be ready to record a video, it would take me so much more time if I did anything but batching. So I batch 7 videos a week for green screen on Mondays. And then on Tuesdays, I go and record 3 homes to do my home tours on TikTok. So everything's done in batches.
And then you're doing 7 videos every week, so you can post one a day?
Yep.
Now, are you doing any on the fly? Like, is there any time something pops up and you're like, oh, I got to do a video on this?
Yeah, the burger place. The burger place announced that they were opening in Gilroy, and I was like, oh shit, it's happening in 2 days, right? So I'm like, I better jump on that. So
Yeah.
I recorded it really fast. I got the script ready. I recorded it. It wasn't a news article, but I mean, I was able to source a lot of information, right? And so I was able to post that very, very quickly. And I got that all done from sourcing, scripting, recording, and editing. I got that all done in a day. And even that, once you're creating a rinse and repeat system, it doesn't take long. Anyone that's doing green screens already, they know probably the most time consuming part is figuring out what you're going to talk about. Once that's done, the script writing, everything else is pretty simple once you have a system in place. So sometimes if something good comes up, or if a new listing comes up that's very interesting and I know I have to get in there because it'll sell quickly, then I will just do something off the cuff.
Yeah. Love it. Have you done any collabs yet? Eric was asking about collabing with the businesses, which I can say, like, if you're doing an announcement, if you're doing something, we recommend trying to get the collab. I don't think it ever hurts.
Absolutely. And I always ask in advance. So I've created, especially in my direct community in Morgan Hill or Gilroy, those 2 areas, I'm a lot of the business owners or whatever it may involve. So I always just shoot them a DM and say, hey, can we collab? Or would you prefer to just be tagged? And more often than not, it's free advertising for them, especially when it's a new restaurant or a new facility, retail, something that's opening. Usually they want to be involved. There's certain city, like there's different Visit Morgan Hill, that's a tourism board. They always love to be tagged, so you get a feel as you're starting to do them, who's going to want to be involved. And if they don't, they don't. They'll see it and they'll want to be involved next time, usually.
I like it. Technical question, Christa and Katie, what are you guys doing for your recording setup? Like, how are you recording these?
I put my phone on my windowsill.
So puts the phone on the windowsill because she's going to get pretty decent lighting there. Which also, if you hear Katie's videos, like, the audio is not perfect on them, right? It's a little echoey because she's talking at her windowsill. I say that to say you don't have to have perfect audio. Christa.
I just do. Yeah. Window, which is right in front of me. That's my light right now. So window, and then I usually warm it up a little bit. Gray-haired lady, I need warm light. So I usually bring it in a little bit with that. Katie, you're laughing, but it's real.
Oh, they're coming for me. I'm laughing at the way that you said it, not at the color of your hair.
I'm very fair skinned and I have no pigment in my hair, right? So I have to bring in some warmth or I will be translucent. So I bring in a little bit of warm light just to counterbalance it. And then audio, I don't know where my mic is right now. I just use the DJI wireless mic because it's better quality than just using my phone.
And then let's talk about business coming in. Like, you've been doing the stuff for a little bit. What's the traction on it looked like?
Yeah, so I right now get more traction from my TikTok home tours because I've been doing them for 7 months now. The green screens are brand new. I'm having more conversations because of them. I definitely am doing polls as much as possible, try to do it every single day. So I'm starting new conversations with people in the local areas that I've never met or know, which is great. But overall, it's a combination of referrals because a lot of agents find me because of content. And so it's referrals and then direct business. I get people reaching out on my lead form, usually 1 to 2 times a week. Now, a lot of those are pipeline. They're contacting me before they're actually ready, but that's great. It's a great conversation and it's future business. So it's definitely coming in from both platforms consistently now.
Love it. And then the question is, what are you using for a lead form?
I'm using Woofu. I hate that name so much.
Woofu.
Woofu.
You need to update your link tree, friend.
Oh, I really do.
Oh.
I just need to update it to whatever the next date is.
Further together.
Yeah. Hey.
TBD. Okay, so this is her
All
link
right.
tree. She's interested in buying a home, interested in selling a home.
That's it. And the form is so simplistic and people do it. And it's fascinating because what area would you like to be in? They will give an entire paragraph of information for where they are, what they're doing. I just got another one this past week of she's like, I pre-qualified for 1.2 million. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm hoping to start looking. And I get on the phone with her and it's like the easiest conversation I've ever had, right? She already knows me. And it's fascinating because she's like, I just thought we would match on vibes. And I'm like, you just said vibes. I know we're going to be friends. Like, it's really interesting how easily the leads will come in and how easy it is to transition them to a client.
I will say, I think some of the reason it's so easy for the leads to come in is because of the rapport you've built through the videos. Like, you're saying that, but that's not going to be true for everybody because not everybody is going to build the type of connection that you are when you're doing these home tours. And so it's just, for me, that's just a great example of how powerful it is to do home tours this way when you're talking to people in a way that they get to know you, they get to relate to you. They fill out this lead form like it's no problem. The rest of us running Facebook ads are trying every trick in the book to get somebody to fill out one of those forms. We look at one of those forms to say, oh, none of my leads would ever fill this out. And it's because they haven't built rapport with you the way that they can through video. So I love that you're just saying how easy it is because it's not easy for everybody, but it's easy for you because of the audience you've built. If we transition a little bit to the home tours, right now we have a lot of agents doing the new stuff. And like figuring out your system around the new stuff is super important. Figuring out, conversion and starting conversations and stories and giving stuff away. Like so much of the stuff we've been covering over the last few weeks is more directed at the local news stuff, but you are crushing it on the home tours. And a couple of the consistent questions that we always get are, how do I get into homes that aren't my listing? We get like, you are in an area that has some pretty cool listings. Like, what do I do if there's no cool listings in my area? So talk to that a little bit on the listing tours and what you're doing there.
Yeah, so of course, I always will do a home tour for my own listing, but rarely are my listings as cool as some of these other ones that exist out there in the Bay Area. So I have created really, really good relationships with agents and really not so great. Clearly, they're not interested, never contact them again. So there's, I usually say like the more I do them and the more they see it, they're more likely to want me to cover their listing. And it's free advertising, right? So the good listings will get anywhere from 50 to 200,000 views and an insane amount of shares.
I love that.
But don't get too caught up.
Don't get caught up.
If you get 2,000 views on yours, that's fine too.
Right. But what I'm saying is when you consistently do something, TikTok will treat you well and agents will start noticing is really the point of that. I don't really care if I got 10 views and one person reached out, I'd be winning. I would be so happy. I don't care. But having those higher numbers, the more you do them, the more TikTok's going to push them out. And I really would say that people start noticing in your area, right? So I have several agents that have reached out to me and offered to pay me to do their videos. And I'm like, bro, I can just show you how to do them. It's not like I'm not doing some secret thing here.
You could also just take their money.
Take their money.
You could also just take their money.
Have you heard of Real Broker?
I think Christa is hitting on an interesting point here. I don't think she takes money. Christa, I could be wrong here. So if I'm wrong, stop me.
I do not.
Look, I don't think she takes money because I think she doesn't want to get caught up in a TikTok page where agents pay her to show off their listings, because the page is not there for sellers. The page is not there for the agents. The page is there for her audience. And so whether or not somebody is going to pay her to shoot a listing doesn't come into her mind when she's thinking about what listings should I go get. The only one she's looking at are like, what listings are going to be super interesting to my audience, not the ones that are going to pay me.
Yeah, and I'm very clear with agents that have asked me if they don't align. I say, I'm sorry, that just doesn't align with what I'm looking for. And I'm just honest. I'm not going to do it just as a favor, right? Unless it's my own listing, then I'm just going to post it. I don't care. Because it's my own listing.
The other piece, Christa, is like, are you always just 1,000% this house is great on these tours?
No. So it's usually the ones that I love the most that don't go so well. So for instance, and I'm down to 3 videos a week now because I made the decision that is what works for me. Matt and Roland and many others do 7 a week, and I can't sustain that with my life. Yeah. So I am doing 3 and I try to knock them out of the park. Last week, I did an Eichler home, which is a very specific architectural type, and they're really cool and prevalent. And it bombed. Like 2 videos before that went crazy. This one completely bombed with not as many views compared to the rest of my content. So sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I usually try to find things that are very unique, whether that means they are a $10 million luxury brand new construction home, or if they're these really weird niche looking homes that people are going to have tons of opinions on. Now, I don't have a ton of historical homes in my area, and we have a really big county. So it's, I could drive an hour north to get to the end of my county, and it takes a long time if I would shoot 7 videos. So 3 makes sense so I can really get specific with the style of home that I want. And then I hope that the agent is willing to let me do the content.
So I've got a couple things. One,
I have one question too.
Go ahead, Katie.
Okay, so you said that when you decline to do a tour, you say it doesn't align. What is the thing that you're looking for alignment with? What is your...
So just standout features. So we have a lot of ranch style, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built in 1965. I don't want those for the majority of it, unless they stand out for some funky reason, right? So most homes are pretty boring, especially in my market. They are boring. And I know there's someone else on here in my town too, and she will attest to they're not very good homes. But then we have ranch style homes that are massive land, right? So if it's like a 3-acre parcel and this beautiful ranch home, then sure, that would align. So basically, if they're completely cookie cutter is when I try to avoid them.
And I love that, like, this is learned information. Like, you now know what to look for, what not to look for, what listing agent to turn down, what listing agent to accept. The other piece, I love this idea of not taking money because I think there's just these other things connected to it. The other piece is, like, you don't know if these videos are going to do well. Some are going to do great. Some are going to bomb. And so if I take money from somebody, I have this thing of like, crap, well, this one needs to do well because they paid me for it. The other piece is...
And it feels biased. Yeah.
the other piece is like, you need to be able to go in there and give your honest opinion on the home. That's why you generate business from it. That's why you do, like, all that comes from you giving your honest opinion on the home and people connect with you. If somebody's paying you, you're like, maybe it changes the opinion. And so I bring all this stuff up because if you're just starting out, that's the same stuff you should be taking into consideration as well. Like being super honest about the home.
Yeah, and these are long videos, right? Like the one I'm posting today is exactly 10 minutes long. I am talking for 10 minutes. It has to have character and interest to talk about a home for 10 minutes. You don't take a buyer into a property and talk nonstop for 10 minutes. They would leave. So you really have to be engaging during those and tell little stories or talk about the neighborhood. So there's a lot that contributes. The longer the video, though, on TikTok, as far as getting closer to that max of 10 minutes, typically the better it performs. Now, that's a learned process as well, right? It takes a long time to get comfortable with talking for that amount of time.
All right. So just want to hit on this one last time. We always ask for permission from the selling agent. And then two, any last like tips, tricks on getting, listing agent to agree?
Just repetition. So if someone is a little bit on the fence or they say something back, I usually ask why, right? So I would love for clarification to understand why you or your client is not interested. And then I typically come in with a screenshot of my content, right?
Yeah.
And I say, well, this last video got 55,000 views. So I just thought that would be a great way to market your home or your listing without spending any more money. And I always give the listing agent a shout out in the video. And it's always within the first 30 seconds of the video. I'm not trying to hide that pretend like it's my listing. So you're just very honest and honestly just not having any fear about it. Like if they say no, try to understand why. Now, I've had agents come to me and say, like, my client actually found this house through your video. And I'm like, great.
Love that for you.
I love that for you. But it gives validity, right? It gives them a feeling of like, okay, she's legit. She's not coming into this video and doing something weird.
Well, and sometimes it's just that the seller actually is particular about, like, because I've had some sellers where it's like they only want things from a certain brokerage or they this or they that, type of thing. And so maybe it's not the listing agent. And so asking that second question, not just being, oh, they're an asshole, helps you to understand that, like, oh no, like the seller's super particular. They only want people in on Tuesdays, or they only want people in with open houses, or they only, things have to be accompanied or whatever it may be. So
oh, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Oh. Just to add one more layer to that, 99% of the time I'm doing vacant homes because I don't believe that you should ever pretend like you have a buyer or pretend like it's something that it isn't. And I would never waste an agent's time by if they have to be there with me and if it's really not worth it, then it's not worth it, right? I don't want to put out a seller out of their home for by appointment only. I don't want to do any of that unless it's some crazy home and I'm like, I think this is worth asking. But generally speaking, I will only do vacant homes.
Well, and you can also ask too of like, is there a time that I could do this that wouldn't inconvenience them, like piggybacking it on another showing or a broker open or an open house or something that you could get in where it's like not forcing the agent or seller to have to turn on all the lights and do the fans and all the things. So a couple questions in the chat around your process. So you're recording all of these videos, home tours, and then you're editing them a little bit. Are you speaking the entire time you're in the home, or are you post-production doing a voiceover?
Post-production in CapCut, I'm doing a voiceover.
Okay.
And not overcomplicating it. If I don't have my mic and I just need to use my phone, I will legit go into my closet and record it because it's just the softest sound. It's
the closet works.
Right? Like Yeah,
all the clothes hanging in there absorb sound, and it's not
it absorbs all the sound.
Yeah.
It's great. And like, don't do it. Like, this room is really echoey and I have like a glass desk. So there's a lot of bouncing. So just get creative. One time I was sick and I legit recorded it under a blanket. I don't like blanket over my head. Like, don't overthink it. Right. So
Yeah.
I always do it after the fact. I never record any audio during the walkthrough except natural sound. So the natural audio that's already recording, yes, that stays in the video, but the voiceover portion I use or I do afterwards.
And are you going right into the phone? Or do you have an external mic? I'm sorry, audio. Do you have a mic, or do you just go right in the phone?
I mostly am using the DJI wireless mic, just because it's the easiest thing. It's plug and play.
Yep.
Like, it stays charged forever. So that is what I typically use. If I'm traveling and I forgot it, whatever. Yeah, what Katie has.
And I will say,
it.
though, like, you crawl under a blanket, you will get pretty decent audio from your phone. Like, you don't get caught up on trying to figure out how to use the mic if that's going to slow you down.
And CapCut, if you're, I mean, I know Christa's editing in CapCut, but like CapCut, you know, if there's a little bit of echo or something like that, the noise reduction, I couldn't think of the words, that's why I was talking so slow. The noise reduction in CapCut does a pretty good job.
It does.
There are things like are happening in my background right now. I'm not sure if you guys can hear the shop vac and whatever.
So solid work on those noise reduction headphones.
Yeah.
The better the sound for those home tours, the better your reach will be, for sure, on TikTok. People want to hear that clean sound.
Well, damn, 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is too, you know, Katie and I talk about this. Getting podcast downloads is one of the best ways for our REVB audience to grow, because there's something about listening to a podcast. You're usually in your car, you've got your AirPods on, and you're just listening to someone's voice for a while. And so having good audio when somebody's going to listen to you for 10 minutes is important, because that's where you can build such amazing connection. Like, I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
There's very few creators and very few people that I follow on any platform that I'll actually take the time to listen to talk for 10 minutes.
But look, my face isn't on there on those. So I think that helps. Like, you're looking at a house and listening to someone talk about it. So I think that I don't think anyone wants to see my face for 10 minutes at a time. I think that they are engaged because they're watching a home tour and I'm narrating through that. So I think that's the difference too, in my mind. I mean, that's what I think is helpful, is that it's longer form, but it's still a home, and a really cool home at that. And I'm opening stuff and I'm making it really interactive.
So what I'm hearing you say is you basically have specific days of the week or times of the day that you do things kind of almost every week.
Every single week. Yeah. And I have it time blocked. Yes.
And are you using music
on your home tours?
No, I mean,
that as a follow-up question to my question did not make sense. Krista's brain took a minute on that one.
I glitched. Yeah, no music on anything. So that is also part of the rinse and repeat style, right? Like, it's so much less effort to take out all of those elements that don't really matter. I'm only creating content that's really going to matter to the consumer and not for my own entertainment. And the more I do content, the more I'm realizing that's the truth. I'm not there to entertain people. I'm there to educate, whether that's a home tour or if that's a green screen. Someone is leaving with more information than they got there with, right? So same with home tours. They're learning terminology, they're learning locations, they're learning things. And so that's the idea. I think that I'm relatively entertaining like 5% of the time. And so, yeah, thank you, Katie, for that validation. But
7%.
thank you. I don't need to be entertaining for content for people. I think that I can be entertaining in my stories and still be myself.
I think the thing that agents miss, Christa, and I'd love your take on this, is they're not educating on the things people actually want to be educated on. Like I feel like as you've gone through this process, you have a better understanding of what your people actually care about, not the stuff we want them to care about.
Can I share my screen for a minute?
Yeah.
Of course.
I think.
I don't know. Share.
Yeah. It's
Can she do it, ladies and gentlemen?
Button.
Okay.
Oh,
so
God. No, I'm just kidding.
Calm down. Okay, calm down. There's
I wanted
nothing
you to think
inappropriate.
I wanted you to think that you shared the wrong tab.
Oh no, I screened my tabs. All you would see is like the Ticketmaster because I keep looking for 49ers tickets. That's all that I'm guilty of today.
Dude, you got to screen tabs before you screen share, you know.
Yeah. So basically this prompt, which Katie, I think we've talked about on this call. I think you're the one that taught me this prompt. So
no credit, man.
I am giving you
credit. Now, but this is a slide. You already have done this presentation and just like no credit.
I've done this presentation and I've given you credit.
Okay. All right. I'll take it.
Where credit is due. No. So I asked ChatGPT to give me interview style questions to get a refined avatar. And so, Tim, when you're talking about like who I'm talking to, all of my content goes through a filter of this insane list of who my avatar is, right? And so I am getting really clear and concise on who I'm speaking to and who I'm attracting through this process. And 9 times out of 10, the people that reach out to me are Jessica or a male version of Jessica.
Male Jessica.
Can you ask Chat in the same thing who her male counterpart is? Because I would love to see if it's
God,
or
I'm gonna do that.
In the Bay Area. I'm not going to say anything inappropriate for this call. It's
going to be a tech bro. It's going to be great. I love it.
But like wearing a Patagonia jean vest.
But I think
they're puffers. Come on.
I don't. This is really good stuff, and I want to hit the question of, do you talk about the list price and some of this other stuff? Look, I think that you don't have to. There's so much stuff that you can talk about when it comes to this house. When you realize that you're talking to this avatar, when you're talking to Jessica, then everything becomes easy because I know what happens.
Yes.
As an agent doing these things, you're like, oh my God, what do I say? And we say the dumbest stuff. We say the stuff that nobody cares about. But if you actually were walking through this house with an actual person and you were telling them about it, it wouldn't be hard. It would be natural. And so the thing that I love about having that avatar is like, that's who you're talking to. And this isn't just bullet points on a piece of paper that Christa looks at or a screen. Nobody prints this stuff out. You're just actually thinking about like, this is the person that I'm talking to, and it frames everything she says. It frames how she talks about the opening living area. It frames how she talks about whether or not she prefers the old windows or new ones. It frames how she talks about, the whole layout of the house. Like everything is through that lens.
Yeah. And like, I oddly focused really early on about anytime there's a wine fridge, for example, in a listing, I get super excited. Like I always give a visual thumbs up in the video because I get excited about wine fridges and I get excited about closet systems. And now like people note that when I show them houses, they're like
commenting.
Yeah, like we have this inside joke because they're like, oh, no closet system in this one. And it's like, it's really defining the person that I'm working with, right? If someone hears me talk about this stuff and they're like, this woman needs to take a hike, well, that's clearly not the person I'm trying to reach anyway. So it's just those little nuanced things. And every video that I do, I go through the lens of this avatar and we will find the male counterpart for it. But Jessica, and I use her name in ChatGPT. So when I'm creating scripts, when I'm doing things and starting to refine this, I'm like, what content would Jessica want to know from this news article, right? And just getting really, really specific with it. And Jessica and I are very similar people, so it's pretty dang easy, right? Like I love Jessica. Oh, and Vicky says she also named her avatar. I named mine Jessica. I did not have ChatGPT name it, but I feel like it just creates a very natural connection with the camera and with social media as a whole.
And I keep harping on this stuff, but I've seen so many of different people's videos that I know that this nuance is really important. Like Jessica also should not be your client that you're trying to sell a house. Jessica should be like your best friend when you're talking. Jessica's your bestie. Like a lot of times we record this content like we're a real estate agent giving a client a home tour, where you win by giving this home tour like Jesse's your bestie.
Yep. And that's it. And I work with a lot of friends, and I work with a lot of people that become friends, and that defines it, right? And that feels so good. I mean, I think we all want to do business with people that we align with. It makes the most sense.
It goes back to how you said it's so easy to get people to fill out that lead form. That's why, right?
Well,
because they built that connection.
You don't even have a CTA for the lead form, do you? They just go to your link in bio and fill it out. Because we were talking about that a few weeks ago.
Do better,
and,
I think.
And I think you were like, yeah, no, I know. But 4 people filled out my form this week, and I was like, oh, how'd you direct them there? You're like, I didn't direct them there. They just filled it out. If you guys are looking for more people that are doing home tours, right, and kind of hear how they insert their personality, Christa is doing them. Bill Olson is doing them on TikTok. And then obviously Roland and Matt have been doing them for a while, and old news kind of thing, but but then like Raj Sahu is one who his YouTube, like some of his YouTubes are like 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
Right. And so like to think of the thing, so he's like telling stories. He's bringing in other things. It's not all about the house. Sometimes he goes on a tangent about, the neighborhood and how a client moved in there and blah, 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 blah. Right. And so there's lots of different things you can talk about. And then Summer Hudson is another one who's like the OG of TikTok, who she doesn't even edit. She just goes in, shoots it all in one take. And it's like just like deep thoughts, deep in Summer's brain, kind of thing. So a lot of people are doing it. Yeah. With differing levels of post-production editing and voiceovers and stuff. So it's interesting to be able to kind of hear how they insert their personality and, as it's, in the chat, authenticity.
And the reason why I hammer away at this is that we get so many questions on what do you use for a lead form? What are you editing in? What mic are you using? What do you do here? What do you do there? What's CRM? And I go back to like, Christa has no call to action. She doesn't direct people. She's not like the only thing she's figured out, not the only thing, the thing she's figured out, which is the only thing that matters. I mixed that one up. Not the only thing she's figured out.
She hasn't figured out much, but
the thing she's figured out, which is the only thing that matters, is how to build trust with her audience through her videos. And it's the way she talks in the videos. It's the way she guides them through in the videos. And it has nothing to do with how she's recording, how quality audio, any of the other technical stuff we love to get into the weeds on. And so that's the part when you look at Christa, when you look at Roland and Matt, when you look at, all these other people that are doing it, don't get too caught up on how are they shooting it. Like get caught up on what are they saying that the audience resonates with? What are they saying that connects with the audience? Because that's what matters. I know people that have no systems in place, but have figured out how to connect with their audience and are crushing it. I've got people that have figured out all the systems, but haven't figured out how to connect with the audience. And you can tell, like, which ones are getting more business from this stuff. All right, Christa, final thoughts. What you got?
Just get out there and post. That's literally like, just do it. I started the video challenge with absolutely no plan, but I got content done that day, right? It's like, just do it. Even though I'm very hyper focused on systems, just start taking action and stop caring what the hell anyone else thinks about it. Because if you're worried about agents judging you, if you're worried about, they're not doing your business. They're not giving you any business. They're not doing your business. That was a terrible final thought.
All right, here's another way to frame it. The agent that is thinking about doing home tours, but doesn't think they have any good listings around them, doesn't think agents are going to let them in to do the home tours, isn't going to be able to figure this out. What do you tell them?
Just start posting and doing it consistently. And if you do, you will be rewarded by social platforms.
I like it. I like it.
And well, I feel like Diana put what I was going to say in the chat. New construction is one. And then the other is like you either have a listing or have a friend with a listing, right? Like,
yeah.
Find your friends' listings, at least start, right? Like, and get the reps in. And then you can go find the wacky homes or the fun homes or the whatever. But like, I know that like Sam RP, his is like, he wants a specific type of buyer in Boston that's buying like a $1 to $3 million home. And so those are the types of homes he shoots. So it's not like, oh, these all have to be sexy or funny or this or that, or it's like, oh, this is the thing.
Yeah. And the ones initially that may not get the huge views, those are great reps, right? Gets you comfortable before you get 1,000 views on something, before a lot of people are seeing your content. It gets you comfortable with going through the process.
And I talk to 2 different camps every week. Camp 1 is all the reasons why it's not going to work in their market and all of the challenges and why it's not. And then there's the other camp that I talk to that just figures out how they can make it work. And they just think through solutions, and they just think from that perspective of oh, I'm not in the Bay Area, but I'm in Podunk, middle of nowhere. But I bet you like a horse farm or something would cry. Like, all they're thinking about is through solutions. And continually, those are the people that figure out how to win. And so I just encourage everybody to stay optimistic, stay problem solving, and go post some videos.
Thanks, guys.
See you tomorrow.
Yes. Ray and I are on tomorrow. We'll see you there for sure.
Thanks, Christa.
You're welcome.